Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Exploring Jamaica Market Trends and Opportunities webinar. I am Macy Duplessis. I am the Marketing and Communications Coordinator here at SUSTA. You guys may know Danielle, my manager. She's out of town right now for SUSTA, but just reminding everyone, this webinar will be recorded and I will upload the recording of the webinar, as well as the PDF presentation that was presented during the webinar. I will upload those to my SUSTA account. You guys will be able to have access to it. And I will send out an email once everything has been uploaded with direct links on how to access this video as well as the presentation. So today we have with us Brad from our in-country consultant we've been partners with for many years, Strategos. And he will go ahead and introduce our speakers, and then we will jump right into exploring Jamaica. Please hold all question and answers until the Q&A portion of the webinar, which will happen after the presentation. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to just go ahead and pop them into the chat or into the Q&A chat, and we will go ahead and get those questions answered during the Q&A portion. But thank you guys so much for joining again, and Brad, you can take it away.
Thank you very much, Macy. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. We're grateful that you're here to hear all the opportunities that the Jamaican market has to offer to U.S. Foods and beverages. So I am going to introduce two speakers that are here with us today. So first, I would like to introduce Eric Baylor, who is the Agricultural Attaché, USDA FAS, and he is stationed in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, with regional responsibilities in Haiti and Jamaica. Eric has been in the position since March 2022, and he has been with FAS since 2016, overseeing food safety programs across Latin America and the Caribbean. He later served as a commodity analyst focusing on global beef market and subsequently worked as special assistant to the Undersecretary of Trade and Foreign Agricultural Affairs. A lot of experience here. And before yielding the floor to Eric, I would also like to introduce Rashida Hanson, who joined FAS in 2020. She is stationed in Kingston, Jamaica, and Rashida also conducts a lot of market intelligence and prepare relevant reports on agricultural trade and policy interests. She recruits and leads trade delegations of Jamaican buyers to the United States, promoting U.S. agriculture to the Jamaican market towards improving U.S. agricultural trade opportunities to Jamaica. Both professionals with a lot of experience, so let's take advantage of them during the Q&A session. And I would like to yield the floor to Eric so that he can begin with their presentation. Welcome, Eric. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Do you hear me, Fred?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you. And thank you for that kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. My name is Eric Baylor, and I'm the Agricultural Attaché. Like Fred said, I'm based here in Santo Domingo, and I'm also joined by Rashida Hall Hanson, who's based agricultural extraordinaire, who's based in Kingston. Let me give you just a feel of what FAS does in the region. So we have three pillars, if you don't know already. Of course, we conduct promotional marketing activities. We have three pillars: promotional market activities. We also carry out trade policy and advocacy. So if you have an issue, if there's a regulatory issue with government, we provide support with stuck shipments. We are here on the ground to support you. And the third one is commodity intelligence gathering. So we produce reports on commodities, food sector, the HRI sector, all kinds of reports, both voluntary and involuntary reports. And if you want those, they're readily available on our on FAS website. They're free, or you can write to us and we can happily send it to you. So let me start this morning by saying thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm going to share my screen here because I have a PowerPoint presentation. Okay. Rashida, do you see my PowerPoint presentation?
Yes.
Yes, we're
Perfect.
seeing you. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. So good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all today. I'll be providing an abridged overview of the current state of agricultural trade between the U.S. and Jamaica, where we stand today, what's driving demand, and how we compare competitively, and what the outlook suggests for U.S. exporters. Jamaica may be a relatively small market in terms of population, which is about 3 million, but it is strategically important in the Caribbean. It is stable, tourism driven, heavily dependent on food imports, and deeply integrated with the United States through trade, logistics, and consumer preference. Let me begin with the headline message. The United States remains Jamaica's largest agricultural trading partner. We export more than $500 million annually in agricultural goods to Jamaica, and we import approximately $200 million in Jamaican agricultural products. Jamaica's food system is structurally dependent on imported bulk commodities, intermediate ingredients, and consumer-ready products. That dependence creates sustained opportunities for U.S. exporters like yourself. The three major forces that are driving demand are tourism expansion, retail modernization, and heavy reliance on imported food processing inputs. While competitive and regulatory challenges exist, the fundamentals of this market remain strong and supportive of continued U.S. leadership. So here is Jamaica at a glance. Let me provide a bit more context about the Jamaica market. Jamaica is the largest English-speaking island in the Caribbean. What does that mean? It means that it gives U.S. exporters like you a significant commercial advantage. Shared language, aligned business practices, strong cultural ties make entry and brand positioning more straightforward than in many other international markets. Economically, Jamaica is classified as an upper middle income country. It has a relatively diversified economy with tourism, services, remittances, mining, and agriculture playing important roles. Agriculture contributes approximately 7% of GDP, gross domestic product, and remains politically and socially significant, even though the domestic production does not meet total food demand. That gap between production and consumption is where the opportunity exists for U.S. suppliers. What influences Jamaican food preferences? To understand ag trade, we must understand what's on the plate. Jamaican cuisine is rooted in traditional staples, but those staples depend heavily on imported inputs. Let's take, for example, breakfast. A typical meal, if you look at the top right there, a typical meal includes ackee and saltfish, which is the national dish, by the way. Ackee is grown locally, but saltfish, often cod, is imported. Boiled green bananas and yam are locally produced, but dumplings are made from wheat flour. Jamaica does not produce wheat. Nearly all wheat is imported from the United States. For lunch and dinner, at the bottom right, you'll see rice and peas. Rice and peas is very common. Domestic rice production is limited, so rice is largely imported. Chicken is the most consumed protein. While Jamaica produces poultry domestically, poultry feed relies heavily on imported corn and soybean meal, again, primarily from the United States. So even when Jamaicans prioritize eating local foods, the production system depends on imported agricultural inputs. Now let's talk about consumption trends. One of the biggest drivers of U.S. export growth is retail modernization. Approximately 40% of imported food products move through retail channels. Supermarkets, convenience stores, small neighborhood shops, like mom and pop shops. Supermarket expansion and consolidation are increasing demand for branded, packaged, and higher value consumer-oriented goods. As cold chain logistics improve, opportunities for dairy, frozen meats, and specialty products continue to expand. Retail modernization directly correlates with increased U.S. food and beverage penetration. Now we're looking at local staples. What does Jamaica produce locally? So, domestic production focuses primarily on crops such as coffee, bananas, sugarcane, yams, and hot peppers. These products are culturally important but insufficient to meet overall demand. Production is also vulnerable to hurricanes, droughts, and flooding. Weather volatility regularly reinforces Jamaica's structural need for imports. This dynamic ensures continued opportunity for U.S. exporters across staple categories and value-added products. Now, let's turn to what U.S. exports to Jamaica. What are the core U.S. exports? Core U.S. exports, which I've mentioned previously, include wheat, corn, soybeans, dairy products, beef, poultry, and eggs. These are not niche products you use on occasion. These products are foundational ingredients in Jamaica's food system. Wheat supports bakery and pasta production. Corn and soy support feed. Dairy and protein supply both retail and tourism channels. What does this mean for this group? It means U.S. products complement and not compete or displace local products. Now, the United States, as seen by this graph, the United States hosts the largest share of Jamaica's agricultural import market. You probably already can guess why and what are some strategic reasons for this. Geographic proximity, reliable shipping routes, established distributor relationships, and strong brand reputation all reinforce U.S. leadership in this area. However, competition is increasing, particularly from the CARICOM, the Caribbean Community partners, and the European Union under preferential trade agreements. Maintaining market share will require sustained commercial and policy engagement and advocacy. The United States maintains a consistent agricultural trade surplus with Jamaica. This reflects both strong demand for U.S. goods and limited Jamaican export capacity into the U.S. market, beyond the specialty products that we mentioned, like coffee and certain fruits. From a strategic standpoint, this is a stable and predictable export destination. What are some of the top consumer-oriented products? What are some of the products that are leading U.S. exports to Jamaica? Top categories include chocolate and cacao products, dairy products, bakery goods. Uh-oh. My light in my office just turned off. There we go. Bakery goods, poultry meats, and beef products. These are high-value categories with strong retail and HRI demand. Growth potential exists particularly in premium segments tied to tourism and urban middle-class expansion. Now let's turn to emerging opportunities. Emerging growth categories include egg and egg products, fruit, distilled spirits, food preparations, and condiments. The premiumization trends, tourism growth, and increased consumer exposure to U.S. brands create room for innovation and brand expansion. For exporters, value-added and differentiated products offer the strongest upside. What are some of the reasons why U.S. exports, we have a surplus with Jamaica? The U.S. has a surplus with Jamaica. The United States benefits from several what we call structural advantages. First, geographic proximity reduces shipping time and cost. Second, Jamaica's seasonal production gaps increased import reliance. Third, U.S. fast food franchises account for roughly 50% of Jamaica's fast food subsector. As an aside, McDonald's, and I thought this was interesting when I first went to Kingston, McDonald's has no presence in Jamaica, but other brands do, like KFC, Burger King, and Domino's Pizza. In fact, KFC is so popular in Jamaica that drive-through lines stretch into the streets. So when you do go there, stop by KFC and see if you can see if this is true. What are some of the key challenges facing U.S. exports? Despite strong fundamentals, challenges do exist. Market access restrictions, including discretionary use of import licenses on select products like chicken backs and turkey necks. The government of Jamaica effectively has banned the importation of U.S. pork. In other words, we lack market access. High duties on select products such as beef cuts and chicken breast. And weather shocks disrupt domestic market and occasionally port infrastructure. Finally, trade agreements between Jamaica, the Caribbean community, also known as CARICOM, our CARICOM partners, Jamaica's CARICOM partners, and the European Union provide preferential access to competitors. All of these factors do constrain trade to Jamaica. However, let's look ahead. The United States is expected to remain Jamaica's primary agricultural trading partner. Exports are forecast to increase as tourism expands, agro-processors seek more imported inputs. However, competition and regulatory barriers may continue to constrain certain categories. Sustaining leadership will require proactive engagement, market intelligence, and responsiveness to policy developments. Thank you for your time and attention. If you're interested in exporting to Jamaica or expanding your current footprint, please contact our office at Kingston at USDA, @kingston@usda.gov. We stand ready to support U.S. industry in maintaining and expanding our leadership position in this important Caribbean market. And right now, I welcome your questions.
Thank you so much.
I'm also joined by Rashida. So if I swing at it and miss, Rashida can help me clean it up.
Yes, Rashida, do you have anything that you would like to add or include?
No, not at this point. Not at this point.
Yeah. Thank you so much for a great presentation, Eric. We greatly appreciate it. Is there anyone who has any questions? We'll now move into the Q&A portion. If you guys have any questions, you're welcome to pop them into the chat. Okay, we have 2 people who raised their hands.
Let me stop sharing my screen.
There you go. Sabrina?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning, and thank you so much. And so I was going to drop my question in the chat, but I noticed that it's not active. It's disabled. Is that happening on your side as well?
I see it right here. Someone just left a question in the Q&A chat. So,
Okay. Okay.
um, but you're
Okay.
welcome
No,
to ask it on here.
yeah. No problem. And so the question that I asked is I was, tracking on the presentation and I noticed some of the items or ingredients that Jamaica partners and imports for the U.S. I was really interested to learn a little bit about their hot sauce import, since that's one of the products that I have. Any thoughts on that or any data on that? Over.
So I'm going to turn it over to Rashida. I'm one of the fans of the hot sauces there. So every time I go, I do pick up some. And I know some of the products under Grace Kennedy and so forth, they produce it. But Rashida, can you take a swing at that?
Yes, who am I speaking with? Sabrina?
Yes.
Hi, good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning,
So,
madam. Good
yeah.
morning.
So as you might imagine, or if I don't know how much you know about Jamaica, but we are particularly known for jerk and spices. So certainly hot sauce is one of the things that remains a constant um in our diet and what we do every day. Saying that, we do make a lot of local spices and sauces ourselves, but we have seen an expansion of spices from other places, including the United States. So yes, there's definitely an opportunity for you to come in to try to sell your product because there is space here for that.
Thank you so much for clarifying. Appreciate it.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Next, we have Ali, and then we have two questions in the chat that will go next. So,
Hey, this is Allie Tazinski with North Carolina Agriculture. The chat is also disabled for me, so that's why I raised my hand.
okay.
But my question is there a food trade show in Jamaica?
I know there is, and it's sponsored by what is it, the Jamaica Trade Commission, Rashida, is that correct?
From time to time, you may have a trade show. They try to do it probably biannually. One of them is the largest one is by the um, Jamaica Promotions Organization, which is of the government of Jamaica. Now, the role of JAMPRO, as we call it for short, is to promote Jamaican exports. So they're promoting local companies to export products outside. So that is what that major show is for. In addition, we do have local agricultural shows, we call them. They're not necessarily trade shows where um, they invite suppliers in to showcase the products that they have. But in terms of having trade shows specifically for to invite exporters, those are not so plenty. And so an event like this that SUSTA is planning is certainly a platform for that to happen.
And Allie, are you familiar with our trade shows, our USDA endorsed trade shows?
Yes, I'm familiar with the USDA endorsed and the USDA branded shows.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
So we have someone in the chat. I'm not sure. I know Sabrina and Ali, you said that you couldn't see it. I don't know if it's in your more section because it is for me. It usually was on the bottom row, but I don't know if it's in your more section and it says Q&A. It's not anything regarding the chat. Um, so I don't know because I had to find it as well. But a question that we had in from Q&A is what about potential for U.S. distilled spirits?
What's the potential for U.S. distilled spirits, Rashida? What are we?
Um, how do I tell it? Well, I'd have to revisit the actual what do you call it, export numbers. But again, there is potential for that just because we have, and Jamaica again does a lot of spirit, mostly rums and the derivatives of that. But in terms of wines and others that will come in, there is a potential for increasing that just because we have an increase in number of rooms and hotels and restaurants that we're having in country now as well. We do get Jamaica does import a lot of French wines and some from other countries. I can't remember just now. Some from Mexico as well. But we have seen where the US has come in and is making a mark. So yes, there is a potential for distilled spirits in Jamaica.
Thank you so much. We have one more question in the Q&A and then Sabrina. What distributors are the best ones to try and work with to effectively export to Jamaica?
Okay, how do we do this now? The distributors. Now, sometimes I recommend, or I would, say to persons who are trying to enter the market, you really may have to reach out to a number of different importers and work out, just to get an understanding of what they have, what their proposal is, and you would have to figure that out who may be the best person for you to put your products with. So my recommendation would be to meet with a number of distributors in Jamaica who distributes the product that you have. So once you have arrived, and now we're setting up this trade event, and we present the importers to you, then you get the opportunity to decide for yourself which of these importers that you're meeting may fit with the objectives of your company and may likely to increase your exports. So I think that you may need to just look at the ones that we will present you with, so you can make a more informed decision.
Rashida, don't we have a FAIRS report, a food and agriculture import report that gives guidance on sort of market entry strategies?
Certainly, we can share
And
that, but
one of those is how to develop relationships with importers.
right. And who am I speaking with again? Is it still Ali?
No, that question was from the Q&A. That was from
Okay, no,
Jennifer. But if
all
you
right,
guys
no,
want to go ahead and share that information to me, I can go ahead and relay it to everyone on that attended this webinar so they can have access to it. If you would.
right. So, right, okay, that's fine. So, what I'm saying and what I'm reiterating is that having an event like this that SUSTA is putting on, this trade event, is the perfect opportunity for you to be um, in country and to meet directly with those who would who would import the things that you have. And I personally think that you may be able to make a better decision once you can see and you can talk to these persons to say, okay, I want to work with this particular importer for whatever reason. So once you're here, I think that that is a good first step. And then over time, you develop that relationship and contact in terms of your exporting capabilities.
Yes, and we will hear more information about the upcoming event from Fred after we finish with questions. So, Sabrina, you had a question?
Yes, real quick. Thank you, Rashida. I see that SUSTA, is having an inbound trade mission for the Caribbean and Latin America in June of 26 in Miami. Are you guys going to be part of that?
You want me to take that, Macy?
Yes, you can take that.
All right, excellent. Yes, this is a standalone event that it's being put together in conjunction with Food Export. Food Export is another trade association similar to SOSTA, and we are bringing us as the e-market rep for SOSTA. We are bringing several buyers from the Caribbean as a whole. This outbound to Jamaica will only provide exposure to Jamaican buyers. So we're doing it in Kingston. On the other hand, the Caribbean and Latin American Buyers Mission, the companies participating there will have opportunity to meet with Caribbean buyers from several markets, but there will also be buyers from other regions in Latin America that you will be exposed to also.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
All right.
I have another question from Q&A. Would we only meet importers or would we meet with potential customers too? I believe this is in regard to the outbound trade mission to Jamaica.
Let me take that too. The idea is for you to have B2B meetings with actual importers in Jamaica, who will be the ones. How we usually do this is that once you enroll in the activity, there's going to be a cutoff date for companies to enroll, and we do a brochure, an activity, a mission brochure with your company profiles and also additional information that is distributed among the full database of Jamaican importers throughout the country, and they will come back to us saying, look, I like what company A has to offer. I would like to have a meeting with them. And we will then do a schedule. And once you come to Jamaica, you will meet with that company, start the conversation. Of course, that's only the tip of the iceberg. After that, if both parties still believe that there is potential, then you have to keep on the conversation until an order is placed. So that's what to expect. And I can provide more details once the Q&A session is over.
Thank you. Anybody have any other last questions before we get into learning more about the outbound trade mission? If not, Brad, you can go ahead and give them more information about the outbound trade mission SUSTA is putting together, and we have open now for registration on our website. Brad, take it away.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So Eric did a great presentation, and he provided certain numbers that indicate that Jamaica is a great market. Now, what you need to understand is that what was provided is that most of the data is only US. So as you saw, the US has about 50% market share in this market. So it's a significant supplier that provides a lot of opportunities for other players to come in due to accessibility, logistics. It's a very close market to the US. It's also very influenced by the US culture. There's a lot of Jamaicans living in the US that also, when they come in, they bring in the use of certain products that they try to find also in the Jamaican market. So there are a lot of opportunities. And just to give you an idea, just in 2025, for consumer-oriented product, what USDA categorizes as consumer-oriented product, animal protein, snacks, convenience products, sauces, beer, wine, spirits, food preparation, condiments, chocolate, bakery goods, all that accounted for $320 million. So that's some pocket change, that interesting numbers there. But when you compare that to 2024, that amount was $286 million. So it's a huge increment of about $35 million in increase in imports of consumer-oriented product just from the US. So that means that the market, as Eric mentioned, is demanding more product. So the numbers are there, and the opportunities are there. So what's going to happen, how we usually do this project is that, as I mentioned, we set up the meetings before you get there. So we are going to arrive to Jamaica on July 13, and on the 14th, what we would do is that we would have another conversation with Eric and Rashida, more extended. We're going to talk a little bit more, and then we will head out to visit stores. So we will give you an opportunity before meeting with your potential customers, the potential importers that are going to be doing business with you. You will have the chance to visit some stores. And we do that because that gives you an opportunity to see different concepts, the big stores, the specialty stores, the price club stores, and you can take a look in the shelf, the products that might be competing with your category. So you already know what's in there that could be a competitor for your product. What are the prices that the retail prices for those products? So the next day, when you go to the B2B meetings, you will be more informed when you have these conversations with the importers. Now, keep in mind that the way once an importer reads that brochure that we prepare from your company, from the suppliers, the SUSTA companies participating, and they say they want to meet with that company, is because they see an opportunity. Of course, that has to be more analyzed, but these are importers. The other thing is that we also work with importers that do have a history in Jamaica. These are importers that are not only vetted because we know them for a long time now, but also Rashida and knows them too. So you are going to be meeting with people that know what they're doing, that have a history of importing products in Jamaica. And when they say, I want to meet with company A, B, C, D that are participating here, is because they know, they see that something can happen. So that's what we expect. It's going to be one full day of meetings and then one day of additional conversations with FAS and then store visits in order to give you an idea what's on the shelf in Jamaica's retail stores. As Eric mentioned also, there is huge potential in the HRI sector. So you will see different types of importers. There are importers that are only working with retail. There are importers that are only working with food service. And there are importers that will service to those two sectors, that they do have a division that does retail and a division that does food service. In Jamaica, food service is big. It's growing. As you saw, it's one of the largest contributors to the GDP in the country. So that's something very important to consider. And of course, we will provide the information to all types of importers. We don't try to, out of experience, what we do now is that we distribute the information among the whole database. Because if you classify between retailers or food service or both, you could be missing out. So we have learned from experience that it's better to reach out to everybody and let the importer decide if they want to participate or not. So that's how we do it. Jamaica has been a great market. We have done many activities there, and the turnout is always good. So I encourage you to sign up for this great experience and participate in this activity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Farhan. Just to reiterate, registration is still open for this event. I just sent out an email this morning around 9:30, telling everyone that the early bird fee does close on March 14th. It is $200 off the original registration price, so it's just $400 under the early bird special. The dates for this event are July 14th through the 15th, and as they said, in Kingston, Jamaica. So definitely, I will send out the information regarding this this trade mission as well in the email that is sent out with every other thing, including the PDF presentation as well as the recording of this webinar. So does anybody have any last minute questions for Frad, Rashida, or Eric before we close out? Someone said, are there restrictions on shipping samples to Jamaican buyers?
I'll take that one. It depends on what the items are. The restrictions may be more prominent with dairy animal products per se. But once you have decided that you are participating, we will work with you. I'll work with you here in the office to see how we can get those samples through. So just let us know ahead of time, and we will work with you to get your samples through.
Any other questions? Hey, if there are no other questions, you guys are welcome to feel free to email me directly if you have any questions. My name again is Macy Duplessis. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to our presenters, Brad, Eric, Rashida. Thank you so much for a great presentation and for helping us get these answers that we needed about the Jamaican market. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Thanks.
Thank you.